Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So today's video we are going to be having a little bit of a catch up on what's been going on over the last week, and we're also going to be having a look at our Maize Silage. I'm just putting out a wee bit of slurry at the minute, and the plan is to just have a look at the Maize Silage and video it. A few questions just on that and how it is doing at the minute. So yeah, we'll have a look at that once we get over there. But yeah, catch up on what's been going on over the last week. We've had quite a busy week. I suppose we'll start off with last Sunday. We were at the Moynalty or Moynalty show in County Meath. We were at it with a pair of walking horses, and we had a horse-drawn binder as well. Yeah, great show, great weather. We had an absolutely fantastic day for the event, and we put on a display with the walking horses and the binder, and yeah, everything went very well. I have a wee bit of footage, so I'll pop that in here now, and you can just see a clip of the horses in action. So that was a little bit of footage of the horses at the Moynalty or Moynalty show, depending on whereabouts you're from or what you call it. It was a fantastic show, an absolutely brilliant show. We've been going to it for many years. We weren't there last year. I think Dad was there as a spectator actually, but we had no horses right now last year. We had put on a walking display in 2022, and then there was some COVID years then that it didn't really happen. So yeah, but even going back further than that, my dad and my uncle used to go all the time and put on the walking displays at it. So yeah, it's a nice tradition to be able to keep going, and hopefully we can keep it going for many years to come. It's not an easy thing to put on that kind of display. There's a lot of work involved in it. We don't do many shows anymore. We used to do a lot more, especially when my Uncle John was around, and he was able to help out with it and was heavily involved in it. But it's mostly just my dad and myself now, and then we have my cousin Peter, and a couple of other friends then that helps out as well. It's the kind of job that you need help with. You'd need two people that struggle to do it all on their own and get everything up and running at the show. You really need 3 or 4 there to just give a hand. So yeah, but it's just one of them things. A lot of work involved in it. Like with the horses were out 3 times the week before, just getting them in tune, working together, and getting them used to pulling again, because they're not used every day. It's not like horses from years ago that would have been working those binders or mowing machines, where they were out and if they weren't at that job, they were pulling a cart or a horse-drawn roller, or they were ploughing, or there was all the year round they were walking. These horses aren't, whereas they are trained up for it. The week before it, you need to get them out and just get them back into pulling, and they kind of settle down. As the week goes on, they settle down into it and they get back into the rhythm of it. So yeah, a lot of work behind the scenes that you don't see with getting them ready for that. And then the likes of the binder, it was taken out on the Saturday morning. Was working fine the last time we put it in, but you have to just give it a run and check it out and make sure everything's okay, which it was. But it had to be washed down. There was a little bit of dust and just lying up in the shed, because it hadn't been out in 2 years. So had to be washed down, and then after it got a run to make sure everything was okay with it, it was all greased up, and you know, the twine put into it, and just make sure everything's working okay with it. So sharpen the knife, you know, everything that's involved with it. So yeah, bit of work involved in getting everything ready, but it is worth it. And when you see it all in action. It's a good job. The only thing that I would say about the walking display at Moynalty, it's not exactly spectator friendly just the way it's set up. They have to have it fenced off in such a way that you can't, as spectators, that you can't walk around and be anywhere near the machines when they're walking. But it's kind of done in such a way that when you go out the gate, you're kind of in a pen that you can't, the horses are walking to one side and there's combines on the other side, and you're not able to get a good view of it. You can, when you're watching the horses walking, we'll say horses are walking towards you walking, and then they're walking away from you walking, so you can't see it from the side. It field just could do it being laid out a little bit differently maybe, and even if there were shorter runs for the horses involved because of that, I think it'd be a better job if people could get maybe alongside them some way that you could see the horses going up and down and just view them from the side, rather than just head on, either coming at you or going away from you. But other than that, it's a great show. There's something for everybody at it, and the weather too played a huge part. There's a huge crowd at it. There must have been 40,000 I'd say at it, or maybe more. So the weather and all those things always plays a big role. But yeah, great day was had. Met a lot of people who watch the channel as well. A mountain of people come up to me, saying hello to me and having a chat and all that, which was absolutely fantastic. So for everyone that come up to me and said hello, thank you very much, and I appreciate it all. Yeah, thanks very much for coming up to say hello, and kids as well coming up and saying hello and having to get a picture taken. No problem at all with any of that stuff. I absolutely love it. Also, just want to give a quick mention to Stuart that I met down near the cotton field. His name was Paddy Curran. He also came up to me and he said he watched the channel, and we had a great old crack for about 10 minutes. So how you doing, Paddy? It was a pleasure meeting you there as well. So yeah, that was the Moynalty show. Great day was had. The other thing we've been doing all week is we've been on some slurry, trying to get slurry spread on silage ground that we cut second cut silage of. So we got that all slurried. We had some grazing ground of slurry, and we were doing this bit of ground here that I cut some hay off during the harvest spell. You might remember me baling a bit of hay up when we were baling at the straw. So there was 6 acres here and there's 10 acres of hay that was made that time, so that's all been slurried again, and the silage ground has been slurried again. Hopefully get in about 6-7 weeks time, we're going to try and take a cut of bales off it. We're not putting any fertilizer on it, we're just slurrying it, so whatever it grows back, we'll just cut a nice cut of grass off it, and we'll try and let it wilt out for a day or so, and then either we'll see if it's nice and dry, we might just roll it up with the grouper on the mower, or if it's looking like it's a bit wet of itself, we might spread it on the ground and then rake it up a day or two later. We'll see, it just depends on what the weather's like. But it's greening up very well, considering it's about 2 weeks now since this was all baled up. We just got the bales moved. The last of the bales moved out of it yesterday. There was still 40 bales here, and they were loaded up on a lorry and they went to Leitrim. So I think it was Leitrim. But yeah, they were loaded up and they're away anyway, so it just meant I can get this slurried now as well. And all the straw is gone as well. We're different bits of days there. We've done a few different bits of days at straw, and we had to do some deliveries and get all that sorted and wrapped up as well. So I'm kind of sick of loading bales, so I am, all week, and spreading slurry, so I'm looking forward to getting it finished. Alright, so all slurry is done here, and yeah, it looks quite nice, and it's nice straight lines, and that's it for about 6 weeks. We're not going to touch it now. We'll let it grow away, do its thing, and we'll try and cut it while it's still nice and leafy, and as I say, we'll try and dry it out a little bit and round bale it, and yeah, we probably don't need all these bales, so what we'll do is, if we need some of them, we'll use them, and we'll have maybe some to sell, and yeah, that should be it. But yeah, we'll have a good few bales now to make in about 6 weeks time, so it'll keep us busy and give us something to do. Slurry's not all finished. We still have a wee bit left in that tank. So look, we have a bit of time left anyway before the slurry ban comes in, so there's no panic on it. But yes, a wee bit left in that tank, and I have another tank up the top of the yard that has a wee bit of slurry. It's just got a wee bit thick. We let some water into it, so it's going to have to get another little bit of a whisk and just empty it out. There's only going to be about maybe 3 or 4 loads, I'd say, in it. And then the cow tank also needs a bit of a whisk. It was emptied down, that it was down to about a third full, and it thickened up a bit, and it's up over half full again. So we'll mix it. It should be enough water in it as well. So we'll get that out over the next few weeks, and maybe on a bit of grazing or something like that, and just get used up. And yeah, we should be finished, all the tanks empty, for possibly the earliest then that we'd have ever had. There's usually a bit of a race on to get a tank emptied or get something finished off before the ban kicks in early October. But we're very organised this year, for once. Anyway, we're going to have a wee look at the maize silage. Alright, so over to the maize silage. We're going to have a quick look at it and see. Now, I'm no expert on maize silage. It's the first year we've grown it, but we'll see what we can make of it anyway. The outer row here, you can see, isn't that tall. The first row is even less tall than this one. This one here is probably about coming close to 7 foot. It's probably about 7 or 8 inches taller than what I am. And the reason that it wouldn't have done just as well is it's right out along, there's a stone road that comes the whole way over here, and some of that actual outer row was sown in the stone. It's just where the drill had ended up, and it made its way through the stone and actually sowed some there, so it wouldn't have got much fertilizer. The fertilizer ended roughly probably here where I'm standing, so you can see this one here would have got some of the fertilizer, and the fertilizer then is from here on back. But yeah, it does get a wee bit taller. We might try and eke our way back in here another bit. It does get a bit taller as we go back in, but just looking at it, here where I am, it's above my hand height, so it's in around, I suppose, about 8 foot tall there at that point. And there is, you can see on the stem itself, there's two ears of corn, or kernels of corn, starting to come on most of them there. That one there does seem to only have one on it, I think. I know the other one is just starting to come. It's probably it's not just as tall as the other ones. You can see it there, so it's a little bit behind. But we'll try and mosey our way on through another bit and just see if we can get past to where it's even a little bit higher. Alright, so the further back in you go here, it is starting to get even a little bit taller. You can see even the likes of the here, where the corn is at this level here. When you go in here, it's higher, it's on up higher again. So yeah, it is starting to get a little bit higher the further in you go. Yeah, it's doing very well, and looks quite a crop. Let me see if we can get through another wee bit. There is some weeds. Yeah, definitely. The further in you get, it is definitely getting higher. It's at least 9 foot now in here. Yeah, so I'm just looking here, and the further in you're going and the taller it's getting, there is now 3 of the corns starting to appear on it. So yeah, we're very, very happy with how it's doing. Now, this is what was grown on the plastic, as I said. Got quite a bit of chicken dung per acre, more than 10 tonne per acre, which is, you can see, is now standing to it. And the other bit then was 12 acres in this field. The other field has 8 acres on it, and it is not just as far on as this, because it wasn't sown on the plastic, but it's still doing well. It's caught up a lot. It was a good bit behind initially, but it is starting to catch up. The weather has played ball with it and has helped it to catch up a little bit. But yeah, not the easiest to walk through. The ground is quite wet. It has done a good bit of rain, but it's quite sticky here just walking on it. But as I said, there seems to be a lot of weeds there. But as that starts to grow, if that keeps growing and filling in, I would imagine that a lot of them will be smothered out once they stop getting the light. But yeah, doing all right, considering that it was planted quite late because of the weather conditions. Be quite happy with how it's doing. Yeah, you wouldn't like to be just plopped into the middle of it. You don't have to find your way out of it, because once you get in a few rows, you can't see the whole pile from in there. But yeah, that's a quick look at the maize and just how it's doing. So tassels is on it. Tassels has just started appearing on the other piece. I'm not going to get into to get a quick look at it, but if I'm in town at some stage during the week, it's just on the outskirts of Dundalk. I'll see if I can get a bit of footage of it, and I'll show you it as well. Alright, so we're just driving down along it. You can see the crop kind of from here. So you can see the outer two rows here that's right out along the road. Not the most fertile piece of land that you've ever seen. So yeah, it's never not going to do much. But once you get in past that, you can see there's quite a height difference, and it's a lot greener. Yeah, look at it. It'll be interesting to see how it does. It's something that we've wanted to get into our ration for quite a while. We wanted to get some maize silage into it. So we've planted 20 acres in total. There's 8 acres here. I don't know whether I said might have said there was 12 acres here when I was looking through it. There's 8 acres here in this field that was sown on the plastic, and 12 acres then that wasn't sown on the plastic. So we've grown 20 acres of it. We may not need all that, so we'll see. If it's a case that we don't use it all, we could sell some of it. If we don't sell it, we can leave it there till next year, and it might mean that next year we might only need to put in 10 or 12 acres of it. And yeah, we can chop it around that way. The other thing about it is too, it's a break crop. You know, we can put this in anywhere that we've maybe had a crop of wheat out of land and a few years in barley. We can put some of this here in. It gives it a break from the cereals for that year or so, and for that 1 year, and then afterwards we can put wheat back in here again. Yeah, we'll just see what way it works out. We do that a little bit too with we work with a spud man on certain fields as well, and we kind of give him spuds for a year, take it back, and we then it breaks it up as well. But that, you know, once the ground all goes round in a circle with getting spuds in it, you kind of have to stay out of it then for a while. So you can only do that for so long, and then you have to have something else, and then this is the other thing that we're going to start growing a bit of, and we'll see how it works out. There is a few messes which just wouldn't be overly happy with when it was being sown on the ins and outs. A man that drilled it in, he was kind of lifting the drill a little bit early, and he just left a few patches here and there that should have, you know, you need to overlap some little bit, and he just wasn't doing that. So there's a few open bits through it. If I had the drone up, I would have popped it over and you would have seen what I'm talking about. But you can see it from certain places where there's just open places where the drill was lifted too early, and there's a gap of maybe 10 foot where you should have maize that there's not, and that's in a good few places through the field. So I wouldn't be overly happy with that. It'll not exactly help the yield, but other than that, I'm happy enough with how it's doing. The other thing that has to be done this week, we're going to be making a start on preparations for ploughing, because you're not going to find that coming around now. We're into mid-August, so yeah, we've 2 weeks roughly until the ban lifts on hedge trimming. So but we've some jobs to do before that happens. We will have the hedge trimmer in and take care of some of the ditches and just face them back a little bit and just keep them tidy. But before that, I have a little bit of burning off to do, which I'm going to be doing in the early days of this week. You can see the likes of this field here needs a little bit of round up along the headland here, just to kill off any of the likes of that grass, and I'll probably do the likes of here as well in a few places, anywhere it needs it. And if a field had a bit of scotch grass, which sometimes fields can have, especially in wet years like that, through a bit of grass through a field, I'm going to burn it off, because it kind of just stops it from coming back the following year. So yeah, that's bit of spraying to be done early this week. The other thing we're going to do this week is we need to move. We've chicken dung that we need to move into the fields that we are going to be ploughing. So get the chicken dung moved and into position in the fields. So that's another job that has to be done, a messy job, but just one of them jobs. If you spend a day at it, just get it done, get it into the fields, and then at least once it's there, then when it's going to be spread, it's only a matter just you have to move the digger in, and I can be ploughing as the dung is being spread, and we get it ploughed down pretty quickly. So yeah, that's preparations are going to begin for ploughing and drilling. We do intend to get it ploughed and drilled a little bit earlier than last year. Yeah, last year it was into October by the time we got it started, and then it turned very wet. But this year we're going to try and maybe do it a little bit earlier, even if it means pre-emergent spray going on and an extra aphid spray or something like that if it needs it. We will do that because we just want to get it in a wee bit better conditions than last year. So yeah, plus we're going away we'll probably not have it all in before we go away. We're going away for a week's holidays in October, towards the end of October. So we want to kind of have a lot of it done. Some of the winter wheat probably won't be in that early, but even if we can put it in when we come back, but we'll see. We'll just see where that works out. So that's really it for today's video. We'll have plenty coming up in the coming week, and I'll take you along as we're doing that. It's short enough just to catch up on what's been happening. Hope you enjoyed it, even though it's short. Until the next video, don't forget, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, hit the sub button, leave a like in the video if you enjoyed it, and comment down below if you have any questions or anything you want to add to the video. Let me know what you think of the maize and how you think it's doing. I think it's doing well, but as I say, I'm no expert on it. Let me know what you think of it, and yeah, until the next video, take care and see you then.